bring in General Keith Kellogg, a former national security advisor to President Trump. Okay, General. They said that there was not going to be any negotiations under a blockade, and then what do you know? They rushed to Islamabad to negotiate during a blockade. What does that tell you?
Thanks, Jesse, for having me. It tells me they're very weak, and I think we need to keep the pressure on. I thought the president brilliantly set up a blockade, but I'd be prepared to go the next step. I mean, I've reached a point now with negotiations. You tell their foreign minister, who's Rachi, so he wrote a book on Iranian negotiations. So did our president with The Art of the Deal. We're just not going to negotiate. You're going to accept the terms and go with it, and don't bring our negotiation teams in. And I always have in the back of his mind, which you just said earlier, is taking Karg Island or the islands in the Strait of Hormuz. You can do that. We've got 2 amphibious ready groups of Marines. They can do that. The 82nd Airborne has got a brigade that can do that on Karg Island. I would create problems for them that are really hard that they cannot solve. And you look at the fractured leadership. You know, we're not sure what Khomeini is actually doing right now. We know he's been badly hurt as well. When you look at their President Pezeshkian, he kind of wants to get out of it. You look at Arachi, he's probably going to try to delay this as much as possible. And I would just say, we're not going to negotiate with you. These are the terms. The terms are going to be the terms that we want. And if you don't, we're going to take the next step and start to put things at risk of your government, which means their islands, their territory. That does not mean you go downtown Tehran. That does not mean you invade the country because it's so large. But we've got to get the enriched uranium out of there, give it to the IAEA or somebody that's going to hold it, and we can actually control their oil and the flow of oil and open the Strait of Hormuz. There's a lot of people out there would like us to do that, I am sure. But that's going to be the president's. Now, we're now in a war of wills, and I would not bet against the president of the United States at all. And I would bet against Arachi and the supreme leader as well. They've never come up with against a guy like this with President Trump. But I think we're almost at a point we're going to create problems for them that they cannot solve. Remember what they did, the Revolutionary Guards. They've created a doctrine. They call it Mosaic. And that means you decentralize the Revolutionary Guards. So there's 31 different districts. Because of that, you really don't know who's in charge right now. You could have District 18 do things they don't want to have happen because they're independently operated. So I would close it out on them and say, this is the way it's going to be. We're going to finish you off. This is the way we want it. You know, I'm reminded of our American Civil War. You know, in 1864, Lincoln went to Grant. He said, hey, you need to finish this war out. He did. One of the first things he did, he took Sherman, and he sent Sherman across Georgia, the march to the sea. He broke the back of the Confederacy economically. That's where we're at. And I would say I would go all in and not just say, well, we're going to keep the blockade, because where you're going to hear the term is the War Powers Act of 1973. You're going to hear the term 2 months. Actually, if you look at Section 5, it's not 2 months, it's actually 3 months, because you get an extra 30 days. And I'm sure we haven't reached the point we need to, but boy, I would sure think hard about going in there and taking key territory of Iran right now and just basically say to them, hey, when you want to talk, you've got my phone number, give us a call.
That's a great take. Giving me a lot to think about, General. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.